Okay, so today it's the special right triangles. 5, 7, 19. Okay, first thing I'm going to do, before I do anything, let's just draw. I'm just going to draw. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm just going to draw a 45, 45, 90. Now it's half a square. So it's half a square, okay? So I'm going to draw it 45 degrees, 45 degrees, 90, okay? Now, this works for every 45, 45, 90, everyone. Big ones, little ones, okay? Think about this, big squares, little squares. I mean, no matter what, if you got a big square, the two sides are equal, right? A little square, the two sides are equal, right? So, it doesn't really matter what these sides are. 45, 45 is important because this is going to be the shape. So, we always know, because it is half a square, that these two sides have to be equal, right? So if this is 10, this is 10. This is 18, this is 18. This is 1.2, this is 1.2. It's half a square, right? Well, it turns out with Pythagoras' theorem that the diagonal, the long side, the hypotenuse, is always going to be x times the square root of 2. That means it's whatever these sides are times the square root of 2. So if this is 3, this would be 3 square root of 2. This is 7, this would be 7 square root of 2. This is 5. This length would be 5 times the square root of 2. Pretty easy, right? Okay, no problem there, okay? Now, I'm going to highlight that because this is my special triangle, and I can use this on my tests. I can use this in my homework. There it is. Boom. It's also right up there. It's that important. I don't put much up on the board, but if it's super important, put it up there, okay? Now, let's take a look at example 1. Super easy. So I know if this is 45 degrees, and this is 90, that's got to also be 45, right? It's got to be. So it is a 45, 45, 90 triangle. It's half a square, so it's easy. 8, x has to be 8. Everybody agree? Has to be. X has to be 8, half a square. Okay, 8, 8, then the hypotenuse is 8 times the square root of 2. Now, let's go back to what Amber said. That's the best answer. If you needed to go to Marston's, though, that is the best answer. If you need to go to Marston's and say, hey, will you cut me a board? And you said, I needed 8 square roots of 2, they'd look at you like you're crazy, right? So in most of our story problems, if it's a story problem, we need a real answer. So if it's a story problem, I'm just going to go 8 times the square root of 2. And I'd say, okay, Joe, cut me a board 11.3 inches long. Got it? So if it's a story problem, then change it into a decimal, because then we need a real answer, correct? So I always like to say, if you went up to Marston's and you asked them for a board this long, they'd look at you like you're crazy, right? So then if it's a real problem, change it to a decimal, okay? Now, example 2. Well, I know if this side's equal to this side, it's half a square, right? Which means it's got to be 45, 45, 90. That makes sense, right? If those two sides are equal, it's half a square. Has to be 45, 45. Now here, we're just playing Jeopardy. We have the diagonal, or the hypotenuse. So if this is 18 square roots of 2, that's 18, and that's 18. Okay, take a look at the formula. Okay, square roots of 2, that would have to be 18, 18. If this is 18 square roots of 2, this would have to be 18 and 18. That's all. Right? I'm just working it backwards. In order for that to be 18 square roots of 2, I would have had to have 18 and 18. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, number 3 is going to be a little bit more difficult, but we know how to deal with square roots. Okay. So, the 12 is sitting right where the x square root of 2 happens to be.
76.
So, what I need to do is the 12 is where the x square root of 2 happens to be. What I need to do is find x. Okay, so the 12 is sitting right where the x square root of 2 is, so let's solve for x. So if I divide by the square root of 2, divide by the square root of 2, then x is equal to 12 divided by the square root of 2. Okay, now, that's not a very good answer. Okay, do you remember how we do that? Okay, the rule is
You gotta get.
you can't have a square at the bottom.
So
So let's fix the problem with the problem. So I'm going to multiply both by the square root of 2 over square root of 2. Remember doing this? Can't have a square at the bottom, which gives you 12 square root of 2 over square root of 4, which is 2. You okay with that? Square root of 4, which is 2. And what's 12 divided by 2? 6. So this side is 6 square root of 2.
What would that come out to?
As a decimal, what you had. It's exactly what you had. See, watch this. And 6 square root of 2. It's the exact same answer. Exact same answer.
Okay.
Now,
So
how about y? Y is not hard. What's the value of y?
it's what?
It's got to be the same. Aren't these two sides equal? Yeah, so it's also 6 square root of 2. Okay, thumbs up. This is easy. You guys agree? All right, tell me when you're ready for me to flip the page. Okay, turn the page. Now, let's draw our 30, 60, 90 triangle, okay? All right, so I'm going to draw it twice. I'm going to draw two different, and I think it'd be smart if you guys draw both also, okay? Draw this one first. Okay. Okay, all right, draw this. No, it doesn't have to be exact. So 60, 30, 90, okay? And what we learned when we were doing our little entry work is that this side's got to be x, and this side's always twice as big. The hypotenuse is always twice as big, okay? And we also saw that in our little warm-up exercise that this is always x times the square root of 3, okay? So take a minute to draw that, okay? So is that a 30, 60, 90 triangle, or is that a 60, 30, 90 triangle?
30, 60, 90.
It's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
It's whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, exactly. So I like to draw it again. And then not everybody needs to draw the second triangle, but I'm going to. A lot of kids don't need the second triangle, but if I draw this triangle again, right, and I draw it like this, hopefully you see it's the exact same triangle.
Just a different.
I just tipped it over. It's just a different way, right? So 30, 60, x, 2x, x squared is 3. So do you agree these are the same two triangles?
Yeah.
And some kids can't see that, so I draw them both. I've been doing this a long time, haven't I? I've learned that some kids cannot see that this and this are the same triangle, so I just draw them both, right? But they are, same triangle, right? Just got knocked over. This one just got knocked over, right? Okay, so then, if we need to do example 4, I'll give you a second to draw those. You guys still drawing those? I'll give you a second. Then if I want to do example 4, we can do the same thing. So, the hypotenuse is twice as long as the short side. So the hypotenuse is twice as long as the short side. So the short side's got to be 6. So x is 6. And then this side right here is whatever this side is, whatever this is, times the square root of 3. Okay, whatever this side is, times the square root of 3. So it's 6 times the square root of 3. If you need a decimal answer, you got it for me yet, Isaac?
10.
Yeah, 10.4. So if you need a decimal answer, it's about 10.39 or 10.4, okay, as a decimal. However, I agree with Autumn that this is a better answer because this is exact, right, Autumn? Cameron, are you stretching?
Yeah, I'm just stretching.
Okay, now look at 5. Hopefully I'm not going to trick you. It's still the same triangle, isn't it? Is it still the same triangle? So the hypotenuse is twice as long as this side, isn't it? The hypotenuse is twice long, so this side's got to be 9.
Whoa.
Right? And then the long leg is 9 times the square root of 3. Okay? And then as a decimal, Isaac's got it. It's about 15.58 or 15.4, but I agree once again with Autumn. Autumn, I like that answer better because it's exact, right? Okay, now, number 6. So here's the thing. I want to find the area of this problem. Okay, so if I want to find the area of any triangle, area is equal to, you ready? 1/2 base times the height. Okay, now I don't know the height though. Good idea. Aiden said, let's just divide, right? Smack down the middle, okay? So I'm going to take, I think you're right. Let's just divide this right smack down the middle. Okay, there you go. When I do that, it breaks it into 2 triangles, okay? Great. Awesome. Now, here's what I know.
Hey, guess what? It's the 36.
How do I know it's 36? Yes, it is. How do I know that?
Because it's all even.
If this is an equilateral triangle, right? then the angles are 60, 60, 60. Does that make sense? Equilateral, 10, 10, 10, 60, 60, 60. You guys agree with that? So it was 60, 60, 60, but I cut it in half.
You only got a
Isn't it 5?
30, 60?
So now I get a 30, 69 triangle. Hey, what do you know? I think I know how to deal with that, right? I know that whatever this side is, that is going to be that times the square root of 3. So I know that this is 5, right?
8.
Right? And then I know the height is now going to be 5 times the square root of 3 because it's my special right triangle. Yeah, hang on to that. Okay, now, area. So let's do area. Area is going to be 1/2 the base. What's the base of my triangle?
5.
Well, it's actually 10 for the whole triangle, right?
Oh, yeah.
You guys agree the whole triangle is 10? So 1/2, 10. And what's the height now? What's the height?
8.6.
5 square roots of 3. So we're going to get two answers, okay? One answer is going to be 25 square roots of 3 centimeters squared, okay? That's one answer. Because I took, you ready? Half of 10. 5 times 5 is 25. Now that's the math. If I was a math geek, which I am, loser math geek, that's the answer I like, okay? But if one area, and I went to Marston's, and Marston's like, what? What are you talking about? I'd say, well, or give me an answer more like this, 43.3 centimeters squared, okay? Both answers are great. I am a math geek. I like this answer better, but this answer is an answer that probably you could build a building with, right, okay? Now, what do you think? Pretty easy?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't have a lot for you today. I've got a little bit of homework, and then we want to